The story begins in 1965 New York, with Terry Giannoffrio, a young chorus dancer, getting ready for her performance. As the music starts, she captivates the audience, moving effortlessly through her routine. Her performance builds to a breathtaking balletic leap, until a misstep turns graceful into grim, her ankle giving way with a chilling crunch. The scene then shifts fluidly from the lively stage to a quiet hospital room, where Terry is prepared and sedated for surgery. Months later, Terry walks with a noticeable limp. She buys pain meds from a street musician in exchange for cash and heads to her best friend Annie's apartment, where she's been staying. Upon arriving, she overhears Annie is arguing with her roommate about when Terry will move out, which makes her sad. Next, Terry tries her luck at another audition, but it ends in failure. Frustrated and in pain, she ices her injured ankle and pops more pills. Meanwhile, the pile of unpaid bills on her table continues to grow, adding to her frustration. Terry is at another audition for a show created by the well-known producer Alan Marchand. The director remembers her as the girl who fell, and Terry shares that she's from Nebraska, where her family runs a pig farm. The director asks her to do the same move that hurt her again and again, even though it clearly causes her a lot of pain. Then Marchand suggests she act like the pig she grew up with, but Terry firmly declines, saying she won't embarrass herself like that. Outside, Annie tells Terry to take it easy on the pain medication and suggests that she should think about going back home until she feels better. But Terry insists that all she really wants is to dance and see her name in lights. When she spots Marchand leaving, she decides to follow him to his apartment building, the Bramford. Terry enters the Bramford and tries to chat with the doorman, but it's obvious she's taken too many pain pills. She stumbles back outside, where she encounters an elderly couple, Roman and Minnie Castevet. Terry vomits, prompting the Castevets to help her up and take her to their apartment, where they kindly put her to bed. The next morning, Terry wakes up to a warm breakfast with the overly friendly Minnie and Roman, thanking them for their kindness. When Minnie asks about her leg, Terry explains the story of her fall. The couple then surprises her by showing her another apartment they own, offering it to her rent-free until she's back on her feet. Stunned, Terry insists she couldn't possibly afford it, but Minnie reassures her that money isn't an issue. In the next scene, Terry is packing her things while Annie warns her that moving in might not be a great idea. Terry brushes off the concern, saying she can't keep freeloading and is glad to accept the Castevets' help for a while. When she's settling into the new apartment, Terry stumbles upon an old dance shoe marked with the name Joan Cebulski. Terry shows the shoe to Minnie, who casually tosses it in the trash. Following her instincts, Terry retrieves it before it's gone. Later, Minnie invites her for drinks at Alan Marchand's apartment, prompting Terry to put on her best outfit and bravely attend. However, upon arrival, she learns the Castevets conveniently didn't show up. Curious, Terry asks Marchand why he agreed to meet her. He explains that Roman and Minnie are generous arts patrons, and their recommendation piqued his interest. He shows her concept art for his new show, and then shifts the conversation to what truly motivates her. Opening up, Terry shares that dancing helped her cope after her mom passed away. She tells him she's willing to do anything to feel that joy again. Terry starts to feel lightheaded, and Marchand helps her stand up. As she wobbles around the apartment, feeling dizzier, Marchand plays a song. Suddenly, everything feels like a strange dream, mixed with an amazing musical performance. In the midst of it all, Terry finds herself tied to a black bed while a sparkly demon comes after her. The next morning, Terry wakes up to Marchand bringing her espresso and telling her how much fun he had. He also shares good news that he is ready to take her to his show, which makes her happy. At rehearsal, even though she still feels a bit dizzy, Terry pushes through the dance moves. She notices a bruise on her wrist, and the snarky lead dancer, Vera, makes a comment about how Terry must have gotten into the show by other means. Later in the bathroom, Terry examines herself and finds more bruises scattered across her body. When she gets home, Minnie introduces her to Gardenia, a neighbor from the building who lives in an apartment destined for Rosemary. Gardenia notices Terry's ankle, inspects the surgical scar, and applies a peculiar homemade salve, advising Terry to use it twice daily. That night, Terry is plagued by eerie dreams of elevator shafts, hidden tunnels, and the haunting image of the demon attacking her once again. When Terry wakes up, she notices that her ankle feels perfectly fine now. The magical ointment really did the trick, but does not ask about the ingredients. During rehearsal, she performs well, and the director praises her improved performance. Later on, Terry takes Annie to the Castevets for a costume party. Minnie introduces Terry to some of the unusual neighbors, who are actually fellow Satan worshippers, including Dr. Zyperstein, who is an obstetrician. After chatting with the neighbors, Terry strolls around and spots some secret meetings happening. She then sees Minnie having a disagreement with Gardenia, who storms off. Soon after, Roman surprises Terry with her Christmas present, a beautiful fur coat that has a necklace tucked inside the pocket. Roman claims the coat is 300 years old, and the charm on it contains a bit of tannis root. It might smell terrible, but they say it brings good luck. In the morning, Terry suddenly feels sick and throws up in the bathroom. She heads to her costume fitting, feeling jealous as she watches Vera. After that, Terry visits the doctor and learns that she's pregnant. She tells Annie about this, who mentions that her cousin had an abortion and can help Terry find out where to go. As the conversation continues, Vera overhears and, with a cruel smirk, suggests Terry drink bleach or have someone push her down a flight of stairs. Furious, Terry shoves Vera hard, nearly sending her tumbling down the stairs. Later, while doing laundry, Terry notices a bottle of bleach on the sink as she holds a charm. Suddenly, she feels a sharp pain in her lower stomach. When she opens the dryer, she's shocked to see a bloody baby rolling around with the clothes, and she catches a glimpse of a creepy figure in the reflection. During dress rehearsal, Terry accidentally sits on an egg and ketchup, making a huge mess on her costume that looks like blood. Vera thinks it's funny. Marchand walks in and tells Vera to clean it up, but then everyone is called to the stage. Marchand helps Terry, mentioning that she has a lot to get ready for. Terry is surprised that he already knows about her pregnancy. He says something mysterious, hinting that one day everyone will see what she can do and people like Vera won't matter anymore. When Terry arrives home, she's startled to find her door open and Minnie and Roman in the kitchen. She confronts them, telling them it wasn't their place to tell Marchand about her pregnancy. Roman reassures her that they only want to help in any way they can. Terry replies that she hasn't even decided if she's keeping the baby, to which Minnie insists they're family and will support her no matter what. But Terry argues they're not truly family. Then Minnie and Roman show Terry a bassinet they have in their apartment. They offer to take the baby if she decides she doesn't want it. They explain that they've been trying for years to have a child, but haven't been able to. They promise to give her whatever she needs in return for the baby. Terry says all she really wants is to keep working. Minnie tells her she's too talented to be in the chorus and that what she truly desires is to see her name in lights leading the show. Roman assures her they'll handle everything, and Terry finally agrees. Terry keeps having more nightmares, where she sees the strange ritual happening around her while she's lying on that dark bed. When she finally wakes up, she hears some sounds and steps into the hallway where she finds Gardenia, who, with a look of regret, tells Terry she's sorry and that she has to stop whatever is happening. Suddenly, she attacks Terry with a pair of shears, and Terry quickly locks herself in the bathroom. When she comes out, she finds Gardenia collapsed on the floor, gasping for air, and then the scene shifts to a group of medic team taking her. The next morning, Minnie and Roman visit Terry to inform her that Gardenia is in a coma. After they leave, Terry discovers a hidden door at the back of her pantry that leads directly into Gardenia's apartment. Curious, she sneaks inside and finds a book written entirely in Latin, filled with drawings of plants, rituals, and the demonic figure from her nightmares. Hearing Minnie and Roman returning, Terry quickly escapes and hides the book in her bread box to avoid being caught. At the next rehearsal, Vera's ankle suddenly twists grotesquely, and she collapses in agony, her body contorting in pain. Later, Marchand announces that Vera won't be returning and offers her role to Terry. Shocked but unable to resist, Terry accepts the part. Afterward, Minnie cuts Terry's hair to match Vera's look. While they're chatting, Terry tells how weird it is that Vera had an accident and might not be able to walk again. This makes Minnie really mad, because she thought Terry would be happy since she's getting everything she wanted. Terry quickly apologizes, but Minnie roughly continues the haircut, accidentally nicking her ear with the scissors. On her way to the theater, Terry notices a young girl stepping off a bus with a suitcase, wide-eyed and full of innocence, just like she once was. Turning her attention to the theater marquee, she finally sees her dream realized. Her name lit up for all to see. During the dress rehearsal, as Terry performs the opening number, she catches a glimpse of Minnie watching from the balcony. The sight rattles her, but when she looks again, Minnie is gone. In her dressing room, Terry removes her makeup. Suddenly, she's hit with sharp pain and a haunting vision of her swollen belly, with something clawing just beneath her skin. Frightened, Terry calls Saperstein to explain what happened, insisting something is wrong. The doctor dismisses her fears, suggesting she might be experiencing perinatal hysteria and recommending hospitalization. Frustrated, Terry hangs up and retrieves the strange book from the bread box. As she flips through, she finds an illustration of the tannis root charm and a terrifying drawing of a woman giving birth to a demon. Minnie knocks on Terry's door, trying to come in, but the chain is on. Terry politely turns her away and waits for her to leave. When she checks the peephole, she sees Minnie lingering, smiling knowingly before finally walking off. Terry starts packing her things, leaving the Tanis root charm behind, and heads to a theater to look at old programs, finding Joan Cebulski's name. Following the trail, she visits the last theater Joan worked at, where a staff member gives her Joan's abandoned suitcase. Inside, Terry finds Joan's headshot, a rosary, and a Bible. The rosary's cross burns her hand. Terry then goes to a church but is overcome with pain as she tries to pray. A nun named Patricia Jones finds her, and Terry desperately asks for help. Recognizing the book, the nun explains that the Bramford houses a coven of Satan worshippers. She also identifies Joan from the photo, revealing that Joan tried to flee but was tragically killed by a bus. The nun notices that Terry is pregnant and warns her that if the baby is born, God have mercy on us all. Terry goes to Annie for help, and they find a shady clinic in Chinatown for an abortion. In a dingy back room, Terry lies down as a woman prepares to use frightening metal tools. But before anything happens, Terry instinctively kicks the woman away. Suddenly, the woman starts choking, as if some unseen force is attacking her, just like what happened to Gardenia. Panicking, Terry rushes back to the Bramford and thinks she sees Minnie in the elevator going down. She follows her inside, and the elevator descends past the basement. Terry finds herself in the tunnels she dreamed about and stumbles upon a theater. Behind the curtain on stage, she discovers an altar and realizes this is where the demon assaulted her. Marchand shows up and tells her how special she is, saying she has always belonged to the dark. Angry, Terry stabs him with the sacrificial knife. Terry tries to escape, but the doorman locks her inside. Frantic, she heads back upstairs and finds Minnie and Roman waiting in her apartment. They finally lay everything out, explaining the coven's plans and revealing that her baby is the Antichrist. Desperate, Terry tries stabbing herself with a kitchen knife, but it's as if some force prevents the blade from piercing her. Suddenly, she feels intense pain, and Roman helps her get back on her feet. They take her to their apartment, where the entire coven is gathered, sipping cocktails and celebrating. They shower her with praise, toasting her and Satan. Dazed and defeated, Terry joins in, raising her glass. She performs an emotional, dramatic dance, even hugging Minnie. But as the celebration peaks, Terry quietly walks to an open window and jumps out. Minnie screams in horror as Terry plunges to her death. The police and ambulance arrive, questioning the neighbors. Amid the chaos, Minnie and Roman stroll calmly to the scene, spotting Rosemary and her husband, Guy, among the crowd. The two couples exchange a knowing smile. In this way, movie ends here.